Project for this winter. I got this 90 GMC four-wheel drive truck that runs up and down here in the canyon. Going to take this bumper off, and I'm going to build a new bumper. And I have a basically brand new Warren 9,000-pound winch. I want to install that on this truck. I have use for it all the time. Down, fall a tree for firewood, drag it down off the hill. The winch could be used. So while it's icy and cold and crappy in here, I'm gonna do that. I got kind of started on it yesterday, trying to get this bumper off, but it's a, pardon the French, it's a bitch. They didn't build these things to work on. But anyway, I'll get this bumper off of here, and then I can start figuring out what the new bumper is going to look like. Yeah, I got that bumper off of there. It went a little better than I thought it would. And yeah, if you're curious, that's ice below those on the ground there. There's about 2 inches right there, maybe 3. Pretty cold. It's about 30 degrees right now. Cold enough to get your hands cold. Sun ain't come over the ridge yet. Sun comes over the ridge about 11:30, quarter to 12 now. Then it'll die behind that guy right there about 2 o'clock. But anyway, I got that bumper off now. I can start to make the pieces and fit that new bumper. Got some of the pieces cut. This is kind of what I'm looking for here. Just kind of stacked it up there to get a rough idea of what I have. It's high enough that it won't dig in if you come up to a steep bank and that kind of stuff. Yet low enough to keep the airflow, won't interfere with the airflow into the radiator. But this is kind of what I'm looking for. Well, I'm kind of getting the look I want. I think this is kind of going to work. Of course, I'll have to fabricate all this stuff, but it's just cut rough. But I remember years ago, I mean many years ago, I was having trouble with the roof one time, and I was talking to my dad about it. And he said, "Damn, just if you can't figure it out, just get some lumber in the air and you'll see it." Well, I have built things like that my whole life, ever since he told me that. In other words, lay this stuff out, move it around, look at it, figure it out, think about it, and it'll come. So this is kind of where it's headed, kind of like that. It's going to be a little higher and quite a bit neater and all that crap, but this is going to be the general look of it, I think. One concern I do have, the airflow going over the top of that bumper, then under the truck. You know, when they come out of the factory, they have all those deflectors and all that crap to keep that air from blowing through there. Probably a gas mileage thing. So I'm going to think about that. I don't know quite what to do, but anyway, this thing is starting to look pretty good. Sun is really trying to peek over the ridge there. Anyway, a little bit early yet. I got the front cross piece done, cut out, and the bolt welded in that holds the fairlead. That took me, man, that took like 4 hours to do that. Yeah, crap. I boxed it all in. One reason was to keep it strong. The other one was to keep the dirt and the water and the snow out of it. So I got that done. Now and these are all made. I have the ends yet to do to go down the side right there. But what I'm going to really look at today is the mounts that run back into the frame, and the floor that the winch will actually set on. I got to figure out how to connect those two, because that's where the strain's really going to be when you're pulling hard. So anyway, moving right along. Trying to figure out how to incorporate these two factory mounts that hold this factory bumper on. The only reason I'm doing that is that section right there, the way it bolts into the frame, is actually pretty trick, but they twist and kink all this stuff to make it stronger, so it's really hard to work with. But anyway, I got to figure out how to run that into what I have there, and I don't know quite how I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to get this off and kind of knock it around and look at it. But they bend that stuff in certain ways, so when the bumper has a heavy impact, it doesn't bend. Pretty trick the way it's figured out. The engineers do a good job, but to work with that stuff is a big pain in the butt. Anyway, so I got to get these mounts integrated into that bumper somehow. Well, I've got the bumper pretty much made. It all looks good, fits pretty good. The only thing that bugging me a little bit, I got that damn winch pretty tight. It's pretty tight in there. But I think it'll be all right. The only problem, if you had a cable foul and you had to get in behind it, that might get a little touchy. But anyway, the bumper is made. Now I'm working on the floor for that winch to set on. And I also made a slight mistake. That hole through the bumper there, where the cable runs, I should have flared it to the inside, making the inside wider. Because I checked it when the cable's against that roller right there, like on the left, and then against the left side of the spool there, it's just going to touch that that frame on the inside there. So I'm going to open that up. So I'm going to do that. I got the stock bumper mounts cut yesterday, and they fit. They're not welded yet. I'm still working on this. But I want to integrate that floor into that mount there that runs back in the frame to give it more strength, because that, knowing me, this thing is going to have to pull like a sucker. So that's where I'm at today. Everything has actually come together pretty good. It's going to look pretty clean. Paint it black probably. And then I'm going to go to work on, got a new grill, got new fenders, got new doors. Going to try to put this truck back in fairly decent shape. Probably wait on the body work until spring though, when it gets a little warmer. It's butt cold today. Supposed to be like maybe 20 today, and anyway, there you go. Got the floor for the winch all cut out. All you gotta do now is fit it. But anyway, that floor will weld in right there, and the winch will mount to that. And then this whole thing slides back, and I'll integrate that floor and this bumper into those stock bumper mounts right there that run back and bolt to the frame. Anyway, coming along. I just got finished putting all the mounts to the truck on this bumper. I just about got it done. There's the mount right there. That's the mount that held the stock bumper on. I just modified them to fit this thing. That's the floor that the winch sets on. The winch sets right there. You see those bolt holes. I'm going to put a stiff back underneath that, right across there underneath. From mount to mount will be a stiff back. I think that quarter plate might buckle a little bit when you're pulling really hard. I want this thing to be able to hold a truck. In other words, pull a truck up in a tree and let it hang there. That's my thinking. Anyway, I've got this thing about 75% done. I'll get that stiff back in tomorrow and clean this thing all up. I got some more grinding and cleaning up and that kind of stuff. Then paint it, prime it and paint it. It's still cold, so I'm gonna have to take it up in the cabin and do it on the inside where it's warm. Anyway, then this thing will slip right underneath there and bolt right on, and there we go. So, coming right along, man. Got that bumper done. Turned out pretty good. It's been on here 3 or 4 days, so it's got a little mud on it. But it fits pretty good. I got all the braces underneath and all the mounts done really good. All I have left to do now is wind the cable on it and make the battery connection. This truck, when I bought it, had a dual battery setup, so it's really easy. Just run the wires in and hook them to the battery. And the winch has a remote controller, so very simple stuff. Anyway, it's all done. It ended up pretty good. Fits pretty good. The only thing, I kind of hurt my approach clearance, but you know, what the hell, you got to give it a little bit, right?